I got 2 words for you. Kill me! Hey, what's good, comic fans? This is Campfire Comics, and we're here to talk about The Walking Dead, Episode 6, Season 4. I'm Campfire Rich. Nate couldn't be here tonight. He's traveling right now. He's come back from Clemson, Halloween, traveling, seeing family, whatever. So I'm just going to hold this video down solo. So let's talk about it and jump right into it. Look, we got Rick's trapped in a Winnebago. Glenn fell off a trash can and he's dead / not dead. Who knows? All the controversy around Glenn. We had Alexandria attacked by wolves. Carol's double tapping people. People dead everywhere. We don't know what's going on. We got a horde of zombies all over the place. And we open up with Morgan. Down in a house with a dude tied up. Going down memory lane. So we're going to go down memory lane with Morgan. And we go back to Crazy Morgan. And boy, was he crazy. Yo, the cat was straight up off his rocker. Killing anything and everything, growling, talking to himself, screaming at himself, throwing himself on the ground. You know, crazy. We knew that already. This, for those of you who didn't know, if I'm not mistaken, goes back to Season 3, Episode 12, titled Clear, which is very appropriate for this. This is pretty much the sequel to that. So this picks up after Rick and Michonne, leave Morgan. Morgan's crazy. She's talking about he's dangerous. And yes, he was dangerous, right? Jacked up some people in the woods. It was just walking, hits him in the throat. And then he walks up on a cabin in the woods and a little goat. And he takes this goat. He's about to take this goat, and in walks Eastman, right? So we get introduced to Eastman, and as the episode progressed, I liked his character right from the opening because he cracked me up. And say what you will about this episode, it was directed really good. Okay, it was a good episode if it wasn't on the heels of what we have been watching so far this season, right? Like if this would have been in any other kind of television show or even a movie, it was great drama. It was a nice build up. It was good back and forth. For me personally, when I'm watching a movie or something, some of my favorite movies come from just pure dialogue, seeing, 2 great actors go back and forth and still able to tell a compelling story. The only problem I have with it is that when it happens to come, right? Like, I'm not watching The Walking Dead for this, especially after something like Glenn might be dead, might not be dead. How does Rick get out of this? What are they doing with the zombies? All this other stuff we want to know. And, the show just kind of gut punches you and is like, just chill out, people. We'll get to that. We'll get to all that non-important stuff later. Let's talk about Morgan and what goes on here. So it was interesting, and I did appreciate it. I just didn't want to see it. I didn't want to see it right now. With that being said, you have Eastman, and right when he opens up, he cracks me up. He's like, can you please put the goat down? It doesn't belong to you. I'm trying to make cheese. And I was cracking up. I thought that was funny. And that was a nice thing this episode did do, was it was able to give some levity, right? This has been a harsh season so far. I mean, it's just one thing after another. It is nice that they was able to slow it down and just chill for a little bit and bring in some of this, offbeat humor the way they did. He's got Morgan locked up. And the next thing I laughed about, he's like, yo, what's your name? And we hear it for the first time of many in this episode, which was, kill me. And he's like, that's a stupid name. You should change it. That's pretty dangerous. I was cracking up, man. I thought that was funny. He was just so nonchalant about it. And you're going back and forth. Luckily, this guy happened to be a forensic psychiatrist, so he could diagnose Morgan and aid him back to, not back to, but change him into a monk, which is what this episode was about. Morgan going crazy, not valuing life whatsoever, killing any and everything in its path, and turning into a monk who thinks all life is precious and that you don't kill anything, not even animals. So, how did y'all feel about that? As far as they really played it up. Again, I would have appreciated it more had it not been this episode. But the fact that all life is precious. Even the zombies, not that they hesitated killing zombies, but they did what we haven't seen before that I can think of, which was dude was burying all the zombies that he killed, right? Kill them, drag them to the grave, bury them, take their license, write them down, do a headstone. And it kind of made you think, like these were people before. They didn't help it. They got sick, diagnosed, bit, or whatever it was. And it was, it is what it is. It was cool. I guess it was cool. I'm so frustrated because I want to know what happened to Glenn and Rick and the others. But sorry, I don't need to digress. Let's keep moving on. I did like the going back and forth with Eastman and Morgan. The most interesting thing to me that happened in this episode was when Eastman sat down and he started telling his story about his work. And he says, I met one evil person. And he started telling that story about Critton Dallas. I was actually, at that moment, I was just like, yo, this is very interesting. To me, that was the most interesting thing that happened, was that story and watching it unfold. And then it comes back to him later. You see the headstone that he had made for him. Like, yeah, I took him and I put him in this cell and I watched him starve, and it took 47 days. Do you think he was like taunting him? You think he was just in there leaving him by himself? Or do you think he was like cooking bacon in the background? Because again, this is before the apocalypse. This happened when we still had plenty of stuff. So I picture this dude back there like frying up bacon on day 30, eating it in front of him and stuff, and just moaning, this bacon's so good. That's torture, people. That's a bad way to go. Just starving. Just sitting there starving. Because I wondered, right? The whole time when it happened, I was like, this dude's got a cell in his house. Why does he have this cell? How did he build this cell? I was curious as to know myself. So they explained it. It was a good episode to explain why Morgan was so zen and, why he could fight like he can now because he was trained by this guy. But they go back. His friend gets bit. Morgan hesitates again. And somebody that he cares about gets in trouble. Not only gets in trouble, but gets killed. So we knew it was going to happen, right? I mean, Morgan's traveling by himself. Obviously, this is the guy that trained him and helped him get back on path. Like, he wasn't just going to leave him. So we knew as soon as this episode started and Eastman was introduced and you realized that Eastman was the one training him, that Eastman was going to die, right? He was going to die this episode. There was no shock there at all. Anyway, he goes back. Now, I wanted this to happen so bad, and I actually started laughing out loud. And then when I thought about it more, I come down here to make this video, and I started crying. I was laughing so hard thinking about it. But Morgan gets done monologuing, right? And it cuts back to present time, and he says, so that's it. That's all I got. I half wanted that wolf, that guy, to just say, kill me. Like, you just monologued this whole time telling me this story that I don't care about. Please just kill me so I don't have to listen anymore. I was cracking up, man. If they, you know what? They could have done it, right? This guy was kind of crazy too. And you saw he was real calm and was like, if you ever let me out of here, I'm going to kill you. I'm going to kill everybody. That's my motto, right? So they could have got away with saying that line. And if they would have done it, I'd have lost it. Anyway, he locks him in there. Halfway thought about unlocking it, right? Like he thought about doing him like Eastman did him, which was leave it unlocked. But he didn't, thankfully. And then we hear somebody yell, open the gate. I don't know if you caught it. Not everybody did catch it. But somebody was definitely yelling in the background, open the gate. Now, I was going to say, who was that? It sounded like Rick. I thought it was Rick, but it could have been Michonne and her company. My wife was just like, it's Glenn. I was like, it's not Glenn, right? But I wonder if the show wanted you to think and speculate who it is. Fred on Google Plus. I told him I was going to shout him out, so I'm about to shout you out right now. I went and asked a question on Google Plus, and Fred steps in and says, I think his last name's Reich. So Fred Reich, if I said that right, R-I-R-E-I-C-H. Sorry if I butchered your name if you're watching this. But anyway, he gets on Google Plus and he says, I had the closed caption on, and it said Rick and then open the gate, right? So the closed caption identified that voice as Rick. That was Rick that was talking. So that clears up that question. So it doesn't seem like there's any speculations about that. It's Rick, which begs the question, open the gate. I mean, he doesn't appear to be driving. He's probably running. He's screaming. I guess he's got a horde of zombies behind him still because he had to get out of that. So how many zombies did he leave to the town? Are we going to, I don't know. So many more questions to ask. What did you guys think about this episode? That's about it, man. That's all I got. Not a ton happened. Again, it was a greatly directed episode, and I guess I enjoyed it for what it was. Again, just with it coming on the heels of every single thing that's just happened in this season so far. Forced to go back to this, it was hard to appreciate it because you wanted so much other stuff to be answered. But anyway, with that being said, what'd you think about tonight's episode? Did you like it? Did you enjoy it? Whose side are you on? Are you hashtag Glenn's dead or hashtag Glenn's alive? Get down there and comment and let me know what you think. Until next time, people, I'm out.